Hey guys, it's Greg from East Coast Dyes, and today I'm making a tutorial on how to cut your own dye decals. So this is how I always cut my dye decals. I never had a vinyl cutter. I always cut them by hand with an X-Acto blade. And I've done some pretty intricate dyes, some relatively intricate dyes. The Maryland flag dye is not too hard. So this is how I've cut the decals to dye for some of the dyes I've done, like these. Alright, so that's how I cut those, and they're all by hand. And so today, I kind of figured out a method of how to do it if you don't want to spend all the money on a vinyl cutter. You just want to casually, occasionally do a dye for one of your buddies. I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm going to be showing you how to do it with a clover. So what you're going to need to do this is some electrical tape, can be picked up at Home Depot or somewhere else, some clear Scotch tape, and X-Acto blade. If you're young, be careful with the X-Acto blade because it's very, very sharp. I actually dropped one once on my foot, point first, so that was not fun. So you're going to need an X-Acto blade and a printer on which to print out some pictures of what you're going to be cutting. And finally, I use a mirror to cut on. You don't necessarily need a mirror. You can cut on a table, but it won't go through a mirror. It'll slide nice and easily on a mirror. So that is why I use a mirror. Alright, so step one of this process is you need to print out the shape you'll be cutting. I usually go into Google Images or take the logo and copy paste it into Microsoft Word and print it out. It's hard to tell what size is going to be on the screen, so you usually have to print once, resize the shape, and then print again until you have it the right size. You can see this clover is going to fit pretty well on the scoop of a head, so I resized a little bit until I had it the correct shape. So I just found this on Google Images, copy pasted it to a Word document, printed it out, and got it to the right size, and then you're all ready to go. So the next step is going to be you're going to want to cut that shape out of the paper with your X-Acto blade. So this step, you want to be real careful that you get the shape really well, because this is going to determine how your dye decal looks in the end. So do that real quick. Alright, so I'm just going to take my X-Acto blade on the mirror and just cut around the shape. I'm going to, on this, since the stem is so thin, I'm going to do the stem first and then do the rest, just because that part's going to be the flimsiest. So you just want to go real nice and slow and make sure you get the shape just about right. Alright, so I'm all done cutting it out. So here is just my paper clover. You can see it's all done. You can use this method for pretty much anything. You can print out letters and cut them, logos and cut them, shapes and cut them, really whatever you want. And the mirror really helps because it's hard, and the X-Acto blade doesn't really scratch the mirror at all. It just allows it to go smooth, and it won't dig into the mirror at all since the mirrors are so dense. So I've got my clover decal here, all cut out of the paper from being printed out, so it's the exact shape I want. So then what you're going to do is take your electrical tape and roll just a little bit out, and put it down on the mirror in a strip, cut it off so there's just a strip on the mirror. And then you take your clover and place it down on the electrical tape, and this is where you use your clear Scotch tape. So take your clear Scotch tape and pull off a piece big enough to cover up, that's too big, but to cover up your whole decal, and place it over the decal on top of the electrical tape. And what this is going to do is allow you to cut around the shape on top of the electrical tape, but still see where the shape is, and so you can trace it exactly. And also, since the paper's raised, it gives you a nice outline to cut on. So then you're going to take your X-Acto blade and you're going to cut around the clover through the electrical tape on the mirror. So I'll do that now. And again, you want to start with the stem because it's thinnest. If you're doing a clover, you want to start with the part that's thinnest. Alright, so I've got the shape cut off, and if you've cut the entire thing completely, your stencil should just come right off since it's not attached by any tape, since you cut around it completely. Then what you want to do is pry your X-Acto blade under the strip of electrical tape and pull it off, and if you've cut your shape out completely, it won't stick in any places, and when you pull off the pieces, it'll be left with just the decal on the cutting board, or on the mirror. So then just you want to be careful not to mess the decal up at all. So just peel the corner up and then peel it off, and you're ready to go. Alright guys, so now I've got my decal all cut out. You can see there's electrical tape clover, looks really nice. You can do pretty detailed stuff with this method. It's not perfect, but it will look pretty good for your average home die, and I'm sure you can impress some of your friends with it. So then what you're going to want to do is take your head and just apply the decal nice and evenly wherever you want it. Wherever you put the decal, it will stay the color that it currently is. So if I want it white, I'll put it on right now, and there it is. So since it's electrical tape, it should resist the heat of the hot water pretty well. You want to press it on there firmly. Make sure there's no bubbles. If you really want, you can take a blow dryer and heat it up a little bit and then press it down. And once you've got your decals on, you want to dye the head. And if you need help dyeing a head, I've got a few tutorials that reference that. One is the Rasta Marble tutorial, and the other one is just a solid color dye tutorial. I'll link those both on screen. Use that to just dye your head like normal. Pull it out, rinse it off, let it cool, and then you just peel the decal off, and it should look pretty sweet when you're all done. So anyway guys, let me know if you like this tutorial. I'd love to see some pictures of you guys doing some dyes with this method. I think this is really going to help people because it did take me some time to develop this method for creating decals that look good without a vinyl cutter. So if you guys do some dyes with it, add them or send them me on Facebook at East Coast Dyes, or tweet me at East Coast Dyes, or you can do them on Instagram. Just tag it, hashtag East Coast Dyes, or tag me in the post, and I'd love to check them out. So anyway guys, like if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't, and thanks for watching.